All right, so we had kind of a crazy day today. So today was set up to be a really good day for a gain. And again, it doesn't really matter in the short term whether we have a gain or not. It really matters that we improve our future positioning. But anyway, we had a really good start to the day. We're really set up for a really big gain. And then two things happened that were the epitome of why you don't want to be reactive in the stock market. So number one, we basically had the gain start at today. We got up to about right here, which was about a 5% gain roughly. And then there was a little bit of some rumblings, and we had two things happen. So number one, you had the administration basically to state that, and they have to do it like they have to do it by statute. So it's not just something they said today, but they had to state every year since 1997 whether China is autonomous from Hong Kong. It's somewhat of a political and ceremonial statement. Well, this was the first time that they actually said it was not separate, which means that anything in Hong Kong is going to be treated the same as Beijing, which is a huge, huge deal, considering that Hong Kong is the financial capital of Asia. So, so you started to see that happen, but before and that was kind of right here. But then you also had the White House and the president held a press conference, basically announcing that he's going to be signing, or he did sign an executive order, where they're going to be exploring regulations to treat social network platforms instead of them being neutral platforms, but when they make editorial decisions, when they flag tweets, shadow ban, fact check, whatever that means, that they're no longer neutral platforms as according to Section 230 of the 1996 Communications and Decency Act, which basically just says that they're not liable for any content on their site as long as they're neutral, and they just treat it like an open bulletin board, which really that was kind of the intent. But when all of a sudden now, when you're starting to either flag or tag or shadow ban or do anything like this to certain people and you don't do it to others, the regulation is going to treat them as a publisher, and in that case, they can be sued by anybody by what's on their platform. So you start to see that happen here, and then the China thing happened here, and so we went from a place where we are. Let me make sure that we have this, where we had a gain of about 4.5 to 5%, where we actually got down where we lost about 2%. But right here is when the president was having the press conference on the social media platforms, and he talked about China too a little bit, but mostly the social media platforms. And it was about right here where, because I remember watching it, where he mentioned and brought clarity to what his executive order was, and so it basically took the stocks back up because there was a lot of uncertainty on what that meant, which drove a lot of this down. So we actually had negative 1.3% during the session and 1.5% after hours, which means we actually had a positive day, whereas the market was actually down 0.56% today. So even though it was a light day today, we beat the market yet again, because that's what we do every day. But secondarily, there's a couple lessons that I had learned, or not lessons, but things that we had gained today where we give ourselves greater opportunities and different opportunities too. So one of the things that I did today was I actually went into the popular collections, or I went into top mover. No, it wasn't top movers. Popular collections, and I went into upcoming earnings, finance, and entertainment. And entertainment, I was really looking at casinos. And so what I did, and I'll just show you, I opened this up today. It's a really cool thing that they have here where they're going to show you the top movers overall, and then you can filter them by what you want to look for. So basically the symbol, price, what it did today, what its market cap is, how many people in Robinhood own the stock, and everybody owns Disney for whatever reason, and the analyst rating. So typical thing is we want to go back 3 months, which is the duration of the pandemic, go to falling, and ratings 50% or higher, and then we're going to sort it by the overall change. And so you can start to see kind of the best upside for highly rated stocks. And so we're following Ryman Hospitality, that's RHP, and Royal Caribbean, and everybody has Royal Caribbean apparently. Every, which is our casino one, following SeaWorld, Red Rock Resorts and El Dorado we own. Anyway, I went through there, and so the long and short of it is I didn't actually get anything on here. I didn't look anything on here, but we went into, I think it was under technology. We identified three new stocks that were rated really well today. So one is FLX Flaxian Technologies, and they have a 100% buy rating. Iova Laboratories, I think that's what it is, 100% buy rating. And this is Transaction MD or something like that. And they basically do like prenatal, vitamins and all that kind of stuff. So they had an 88%, but their upside, their target price was 7.25. Their February 20th price was only, $2. It's currently at a buck 18, which gave it a 6.14 upside for the target price. So we'll cover that in a second. So, but overall, we'll get back to here. And as we look today for holdings, it was kind of a mixed bag, probably a little bit more red than green. But the green ones were pretty nice. There was no double digits for the red, but we had a 12% gain for Braemar Resorts, which is one of my favorites, and 11-point gain for Velocity Financial, who do mortgages. We got the stuff that we don't own. It's pretty much all red, and the big changes, we have Cinemark, the movie theater chain. And so anytime we have a big loss, I'll always take another look at that to see if we have any value in that. Texas Hospitality went up 18.9%, or 18 to 19%. They had an earnings call today, and they do hospitality and housing for West Texas oil businesses. So that's a good sign for them, but more than anything, it's probably a really good sign for UCO, which is the stock that we own. That's going to be a big mover for us. But as we go farther down, nothing. They're all like small movers for the most part. We have an 8% for PLCE, which is Build-A-Bear, which I don't know why it's PLCE, but that's what it is. We have Flaxian Technologies went up 13%, and Iova went up down 13%, which is why it was even flagged here. So with that being said, with our holdings, we actually went up a little bit. I think we gained like $500 to $600. In fact, let's take a look what it is, because it'll tell us what we did. No, we gained about $56. I take it back. So it was down 600, and then it was up 656. So about $56 in change. So pretty flat day, but we're still up, which is symbolically good. Azul is a little bit in the red right now, but that's fine. I'm not too worried about them. Let's see, American went down today, so I don't foresee this being hitting break even for a while. They're just financially not in a great place, but we'll see. They're going to go up when all the other airlines go up, so they're not going to go up on their own numbers for sure. But UCO went up today, and so we're close to breaking the 20% mark right here. So we're under 2,000 here, which is really good. And that brings us to about 41.5% as its overall gain. And then 79% for our overall gain for what we've done so far. And then based on the money that we've put in, the 25,000, we're an 81% gain. All right, so overall, let's see, the top performers we have, this is Braemar Resorts. And we're getting close to 200, so this has been, for a while, this has been our top one, and then Crestwood Equity took over, but we're getting close to going over 200. The goal for each one is to probably go over 400, so that's really good that we get there. Crestwood Equity is probably following right behind, and then we have PVAC at 125. We have Redwood getting ready to break 100 at 96. El Dorado Resorts at 95. And we have a bunch at 60 and 50, so we're doing really good in that regard. So that being said, we took a look at our upside, and we had some change, not a whole lot though. The same kind of cast of characters. So what I did do is we had a limit order for Velocity Financial, but I took that off because, I think we had it at 2.7 or whatever it is. I think that was. But the stock's sitting at $4, so there's no point wasting our time on that unless we get some movement downward on that. I was considering buying a limit order for Viad, which does like travel related reservations and things like that, which I think is going to go up. Um, but I thought there were just some small little flyers that we could do. Again, what you're going to see today isn't a big commitment on anything. There was no jump out opportunity. So as we went down here, the only ones that are in the red are Azul, Yuko, and American, and really there's nothing even close on here. So I just thought, okay, we took a couple of the new ones that we saw today. We have TXMD, which is, get that one, and that one. So this is, got to use Therapeutics MD. And what this company does, they focus on developing, commercializing products for women. They do hormone therapies, pharmaceutical products, prenatal vitamins, over-the-counter vitamins under different brands, and they've been around actually since 1909 or 1907, which is kind of crazy. So we took a look at them for the year, and overall kind of up and down. Here's your flat kind of trend line. It's a pretty consistent trend line. Puts it at about 235, and then February 20th hit. It was at 215, and it just sunk, had a big upside, and it came down. But you can see there's some upward pressure where the stock wants to go up. We'll go back to our 3 months right there. So I figured, okay, it ended, the low point for the day was, boom, 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 was about, where is that? 117, 118. So I thought, okay, if I can get it for 110, then we'll buy 800 shares. And we're looking at the target price. Where is TXMD? Right here. Target price is 725. So if it hits that, I mean, we're going to have 6.5 times upside. So small bite. We're not putting a ton into it, but some positive upside, and it has really high ratings. And again, with these biotech companies, it's very inconsistent. So it'll stay, and then boom, it'll go up, or stay, boom, and go down. But with the buy rating, I kind of like that. We also went into Flexion Therapeutics, and this company, development commercialization of novel and local therapies, so it kind of caught my eye right there. Treatment of patients with musculoskeletal conditions, including osteoarthritis, not carthritis. That doesn't make any sense. So with an aging population, that's, kind of an interesting thing. So with that being said, we looked at the year. It's done pretty well, climbed up to an apex of about 21 bucks, but then on February 20th, it was at 16, and then crashed. But look at this trend line since then. Definite consistent trend line up overall. And in the last month, it's gained 12%. In the last week, it's gained 17. The last day, it's gained 12. But I'm not buying it at 11.65. So I thought, okay, if I can get it for 10, let's say it drops down, then we'll have a 2.3 upside right here, which is kind of nice. And it has a 100% buy rating. I mean, the buy rating was through the roof. It was like 25 buys and no holds and no sells. So I thought, okay, interesting little flyer that we'll put on those two. So the upside doesn't seem high, but they're biotech companies and they don't always apply that well. So that being said, we'll look at our projections. We're still kind of in the same spot, projecting about 251 to 256. And as we go into tomorrow, kind of a mixed bag. Again, it's really early. Things will change. This one shows on investing is a 77 down for the Dow, but for NASDAQ, it's actually up 26. So down 30.3, up 0.3. As we go to CNN, it's really weird. This shows 0. I don't think I've ever seen it say 0 before. Okay, it's down 7, but it's dead flat. And we talked about kind of what they're looking at, and again, this is CNN, so they never have anything nice to say about Trump, but it's cracked down on big tech, so on social media platforms, and that was an impact for today. So we'll see what happens later today. I don't ever make any decisions based on this until later at night, because I always check it later, but with the stocks affected, most moving pre-market. We never show up on this. I'm not sure why, but we just never do. So that being said, if you have not signed up for a Robinhood account, there's a link in the video description where if you sign on there, you get a free stock. If you don't have a Robinhood account and cards face up on the table, I get a free stock too. I don't really care too much about it. I'm just always curious what free stock I'm going to get if I get it. And then also for the spreadsheet, if you want to take a look at it, parse through your numbers, sort, play around with it, whatever you want. If you want to use it for yourself, if you want to make it even better than the one I have, by all means do it. There's a link inside the video description as well. Going into tomorrow, it's a Friday, so fundamentals are good. I mean, the economy looks like a lot of places are opening up. I saw this thing where SeaWorld is in Orlando is opening up, but they have like weird restrictions on there. And then of course Disney wants to open up because it's Orlando and they're competitors in the local market, which means that the Disney one in California will probably open up, but the Florida governor is a lot more amenable to opening up than our California governor. So we'll see where that goes. But there's a lot of market jealousy, which is kind of what we like to see in a market economy, but that will lead to increasing demand. So it really doesn't matter what happens tomorrow, but on Fridays, it's usually people racing to have whatever their position is to hold over 3 days. So it'd be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. I tend to think that the absent any bad news, I think we're going to see the market go up tomorrow pretty decently. If it doesn't, that's fine. We just reevaluate it anyway. We have a plan if the market goes down, and I have these two biotech companies right here. And if the market goes up, then I never turn that down either. So with that being said, we'll see you tomorrow.
To get more information on the sales cheat code, go ahead and click on the subscribe button below. Also, down below in the video description, down there, there's a link that takes you to our website that gives you additional content, some additional freebies that we have, and gives you information on some programs that we have that have been proven to help people to make sales easy so that you can make the kind of money you want, live the lifestyle that you've always wanted, and not have to struggle in the process. And what might be the coolest thing of all is you don't have to put much effort into it. It truly is a cheat code that most people don't know about. And it's a cheat code that can change your life today. So click on the link below and let me help you start to experience these results starting right now.